Alright, yo, what's happening? Smoking with Tuto. Sitting next to me, introduce yourself and drop your socials.
I am Ben Proulx, and my socials is, I should say my socials, or they're going to be, they can't just like, be on screen.
Well, they are.
They are on screen, but that's also I can put them up. I know you're.
I'm just purposely delaying this because I want people to actually go to my socials. That's why I'm doing this.
Okay. So, how long have you been doing this for? Like making content and creating stuff?
Since I was a little tiny kid. Yeah.
But what about like officially? Like, what was some of your first projects?
I guess like, well, what you consider officially?
Like by your own definition, you were like proud of this work, and you're like, yes, I saw my vision through, and this was like it.
I guess so. I made my first movie in high school when I was like 17. So that was probably a big milestone for being like, I'm official. Made a movie. Yeah.
What was the movie about?
It was about drunk driving. It was I was always like into film and stuff like since little, but we had to go see this drunk driving video before prom as a school every year, you know?
Yeah.
And so like we went in junior prom to see this drunk driving movie, and I remember being like, I could make a sick one of these. And like then the whole school will have to see it. So that was kind of the maneuver, and then I made a sick one of them.
That's what that movie was. Okay, I watched a little bit of that one.
Yeah. Like, you know, awareness videos are always corny and cheesy, but like I was like, I'm gonna actually make like a legit good one of these, and I did, and it did really well, and I went around to like a bunch of different other high schools and showed it and talked, and in doing that, actually, I met a few drunk driving victims, and they gave me like a lot of like hearing how it affected them really affected me to be like, man, I want to do messages and stuff. Like I want to like do, you know, that's who I am. That's what I want to do. I want to put out work that has meaning.
Yeah.
I guess.
And like one of the unreleased projects that we were talking about downstairs, they mentioned something about like a guy tripping on psychedelics or something in the woods. Is that kind of follow the same vein? Because like that's what instantly came to my mind when you was just talking about.
That's a movie I'm working on now. I've written a script, and I have a movie in development now, and it's about that. Yeah.
Okay. And so, what are some kind of like what was your thought process going into that project?
That project is still not out or done, you know what I mean? So like I don't know.
Course.
But I will tell you that it's very personal and like based off of a lot of like real events that happened, and I think it's important to have that discussion about the way that psychedelics are received as a society and things like that. So
especially as they become more legal too.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of things that actually are out, I saw Token dropped a music video. It's called Jeep, and you directed that.
Yeah.
So how did you guys?
Token.
How did you guys end up getting like locked in together, you and Token? Because like that isn't your first project with him.
No, it was my 50th video with him, which is actually crazy. But I got locked in with him when he was 16 years old. I was probably like 27 or something like that, and I was working with another producer named Knox, and he showed me Token, and Token was amazing. So I was like, I'll come over and meet this guy, and I brought donuts, and I actually really heavily invested in that first video we did, and then sort of the rest was history. But he's amazing. Yeah, he's incredible, man.
What was your favorite project that you worked on with him?
Oh man, I mean, it's hard to say a totally favorite because like there's good moments from all of them that are all good, but yeah, I don't know. The last one, I guess. I don't know. It's always just the last one.
And where did you end up shooting that video?
The Jeep video?
Yeah.
We did that here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And right downstairs.
and what made
Studio
you
NH.
like? What drew you to Studio NH? like as a whole when you first like found out about like Studio NH and like came into?
Well, I started Studio NH with Ammo and Terry and
Okay, so tell
and
me a
friends.
little bit about that.
Yeah, so we just came in here and started the studio. I guess I've always been involved, or we've always been involved in like a studio atmosphere. So, um, you know, I'm a studio life official, I guess, like you could say. Like I love studio life, and I'm an artist, so I'm just constantly. I like being in a studio to be able to do whatever at any time, artistically,
Yeah.
and so, and I like to encourage that environment for other people as well, so people can, you know, be creative and be collaborative, and because the collaborative part of a studio is probably the best part, because it's nice to have, like, you know, you're editing and like there's actually other artists that you can be like, hey, come here, like,
Yeah, bounce your ideas
check
off
this
of.
out real quick. So I don't know. I've always been in a studio, or since 2012.
Mm.
Is that right?
And that
Yeah,
was like the same year you released Visionary, right?
I guess so.
movie?
Yeah.
What was it like working on that movie?
Thank you for asking about Visionary. Visionary is a very artsy fartsy movie that I made when I was obsessed with like David Lynch
Oh, okay, yeah.
in college. And I have a love-hate relationship with that movie, I guess, as an artist, as my own work, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but it was such a beautiful experience to make that movie.
Who are some of your inspirations then, like directing wise and just like creating in general?
I mean, Spielberg, Jurassic Park, you know.
Was that a picture of you and him I saw downstairs?
Yeah, I saw a picture.
Yeah,
down
I
there
got
with
to
him.
meet Spielberg for like 20 minutes when I shot a Scholastic interview one time, because my shout out to my friend Kristen for hooking that up. But that was cool.
Did you get to chop it up with him, or was it just like a quick thing?
I put a microphone on him,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and and I was friends with Robert McNaughton, who played the older brother in E.T. Him and his wife Bianca.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Melissa, like they're all from The Fighter. Melissa, who starred in Visionary as the mom, was in that movie The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg. She was one of the sisters.
Okay.
And Christian Bale. And yeah, so one of the sisters, Bianca, her husband, Robert McNaughton, is the older brother in the movie E.T.
Mm.
And so when I found out I was going to meet Spielberg, I called him and talked to him, and he was like, oh, he's awesome, you know, like tell him and he was like, tell him I'm getting married and I'm like happy and everything. So I got to tell him that.
Oh, that's what's up.
As I was putting the microphone on him, I told him that. I was like, yeah, he's getting married. He was like, oh my God, it's amazing. You know? I was like, whoa, cool.
And around that same time, you were also working on The Irish Whisperer, which was like a short, right?
Yeah, The Irish Whisperer was also a great, well, I don't want to talk too much on Irish Whisperer just because that project didn't come to fruition, to be honest with you. But I did have a great experience working on that too. And it's just all love, man. There's a lot of good experiences and good people along the way that you meet. A few of those people from the Irish Whisperer whole experience I still keep in touch with real close. Mm-hmm. And also a couple of them have passed. And, you know, so rest in peace, Billy V, man. And Nacho and so many other, and Kevin, and yeah, crazy actually.
Yeah.
Time is wild, but good. You
Time
know,
flies too.
every project that happens, man, it's like a good memory, you know?
Yeah. And speaking of like good memories and shit, I noticed a lot of your projects like that you had on your IMBD page. You worked a lot with like Joyner Lucas, and you're originally from Massachusetts, correct? Or am I misremembering that? Yeah. Where are you
no, I'm from New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd you originally start working with Joyner Lucas?
So I saw Ross Cappuccioni, and that video is incredible.
Yeah, that's a great video.
And so I was like, this guy's amazing. And he was coming. Didn't realize I was asking people about him. I didn't realize he was local, and then I found out he was playing up in Manchester, New Hampshire, and so I went to that show, and I was like, get him to come back to the studio, you know. And then he did, and then I showed him some stuff, and then we started.
Yeah, I was also a big fan of that video, and like I really fucked with the "I Am Not Racist" video that you did as well. Another like music video, because like a lot of your music videos I noticed, at least from the couple that I did see, is they always have like a story and like a central like theme to it. The one of them that I really fucked with was the "I Prevail" Gasoline music video, which starred Daz Black.
Yeah, I love that video too.
Is that something that's like you always try to shoot for? Is like like movies, damn near?
Not always. I mean, it depends on the client, right? So like I'm a video director. I take that as like, that's my job. And when an artist or client reaches out to me, I'm ultimately, my job is to do whatever their heart's desire is, the biggest that can be. So I try to figure that every new client I get, I try to figure out with them the depths of their soul, I guess, to understand where they are as a human and what they want to do with their art. Cause it's really super important to me, man, that, artists, really like embody their art and are their full self in their art, you know?
Yeah, they're able to properly express themselves.
Yeah, and so I'm a facilitator of that. I try to always be a facilitator of that. So like, you know, as we've seen with like Joyner, his Ross Capuch, that video already existed as a template for me to be like, oh, okay, this is the type of art this guy makes. And I was able to apply myself to make that, to amplify that for him, to make his vision bigger and better. Same thing I do with Token, which is a totally different style. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then Gasoline, which you mentioned, that was I Prevail. You know, specifically Brian, who is just an amazing human and wants to do messages too and tell stories. So I think sometimes when you're working with the artist that has that, I like to work with artists that have that same vision of like, tell a message, tell a story. Is the best way to tell the message, tell the story always to do like a narrative, like film type of way? Not always. Sometimes sometimes there's a better way to cut to it, or like a more artistic, or not artistic is the wrong word, but like more, innovative approach visually or something. But, you know, I like cool cinematic stuff too.
Yeah. And I noticed that, you know, you mentioned LA. I saw on your Instagram you went to a Buckethead concert in Vermont. And I also know that you did a video, I think it was in Korea, for young posses.
Yeah.
What is your favorite place that you've ever like traveled to, period?
I mean, I don't know. I actually really like it around here, even though I've been a lot of places. I got to say, like, New England is beautiful. I did love Korea. Korea was cool. Korea is cool because it's like so different, you know. Like the trees are different.
What'd you like about it out there?
Just learning everything, learning stuff. You know, learning what the food tastes like, and learning how the culture is, and learning about all everything I could. Music, like just hearing music in the bar or whatever, like it's different, you know.
Just getting like ingrained with the culture and whatnot.
Yeah.
I noticed something more recent. Well, it was about a year ago now. You did a song, "Mi Corazon," with Jacob Collier. Where'd you shoot that at?
Here.
That was here as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How'd that come about?
Jacob hit me up, and so I had seen Token's videos, and you know, he sent me the nicest message in the world. That I can't even believe it, how beautiful it was. And I was like, dude, right back at you. And I didn't at first know who he was, to be completely honest. But then I looked at his Instagram and was like, oh my God, it's amazing. And so, and now I'm just his biggest fan for sure. I love that guy, but he's just beautiful. That was a great experience.
So in 2019, I saw a picture down there. You were at the Grammy Awards.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like?
There's surprisingly no food at the Grammys.
Really?
There's Wetzel's Pretzels and that's it. You would think there'd be like buffets and like, and maybe this isn't every Grammys, but I've been to the Grammys twice.
Oh, okay.
And both times that was the case. So I'm just saying. That's an L for the Grammys, dude.
Definitely lobbying for better food.
Yeah. But it was, I'm very honored to have been nominated for a Grammy.
What were you nominated for? Like, what
For I'm
project?
Not Racist.
Okay. That's what's up.
For best video.
Some of the earliest thing that I ever saw on your page was 2009 Wrecked. What was that project like?
So that's the drunk driving.
Okay.
That's the drunk
Got you.
driving
So
one.
it was called Wrecked. That makes sense now. All right. What are some of your like more future projects that you're working on and like aspirations as a director that you want to like creatively pursue?
Right now the technology and everything is just like changing so much that it's like it's almost overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Just because like AI, to be like AI, but it is like it is a new world we're entering into. So I'm interested in, always innovating. I guess always trying to, and this has kind of been my whole life. It's like you just always try to do something that hasn't been done yet or something. You know what I mean? Like or tell a great story.
Yeah.
That means something. So between those two things, I'm just going to keep doing that. And like whatever medium makes sense is what I'll do. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if it's even going to be like movies are going to like, they probably will, right? But
Right.
And I definitely want to make more movies. But I don't know if in a year that's even going to be the same thing. Like,
Right. Like, who knows? Maybe like there'll be an Oculus Rift where it's like a movie version or something.
So I'm kind of like just sort of waiting and staying, just trying to stay ahead and like keeping, the people I need to keep in my ear, like Andrew, my guy Andrew, who does a lot of effects for me, who's amazing. He's in my ear constantly telling me what's happening next with AI and like what's the new stuff. Like, recently we were talking about Gemini, and because Gemini, this whole thing is like allowing you to make whole scenes that look super real. And it's like, yeah, it's not there yet. Like some people are like, oh, it's not there yet, but like, it's gonna be.
Right. The potential's there.
It's gonna be. And so it's gonna be a prompt-based world to a degree pretty soon, but it's like, what's gonna be the trends and what's gonna be cool, and, just kind of like just watching, learning, and keep making art in the meantime, like I got multiple things are going on right now. So I'm busy, but, it's a tough balance to try to even have time for my own projects, like, because there's just so many people that are like,
right.
So once it is time for me to work on my own projects, what am I working on? Like, right now I'm sort of just research and development mode a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have your own podcast. It hasn't come out, or it has come out yet?
It hasn't come out. Well, at this current, I don't know when you guys are dropping this, but it hasn't come out right now.
Okay. Right.
Insert
years.
date.
Yeah.
But it's going to come out very soon. So, it probably is already out if you guys delay the drop. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the Bencast, and I'm just interviewing different artists. So I got a lot of good guests on the first one. So one of my friend, I'll highlight episode 1, which is going to be my friend Sip, and he just has the most incredible story that like could be its own movie, about forgiveness. And I know it sounds like weird, but in cliche to say it that way, but it really is all about forgiveness, and that's is so beautiful and amazing, and it's just like needs to be out there. But basically, he got shot and forgave his shooter. That's kind of the main, I guess, thing about it, right? But there's so much more to it. It's just like the depths of it is crazy. With his family and his brother. His brother was heavily involved in the whole thing, and just the dynamic of everything. He's got a family business as well, and is also an amazing rap artist. So.
And is this podcast going to be like a weekly thing, or like what should people expect from it?
I'm going to put out season 1 first, which has 6 episodes.
Okay.
And that's going to get time released. And they're all amazing episodes. They're each about 2 hours long, or an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And they're pretty deep, like conversations with artists about how their creative process works, and just, diving into like what it's like to be some conversations about like what it's like to be on the road, like some conversations about like, what goes into the studio sessions, and, how things can be challenges to be overcome and stuff like that. So it's, and trauma, like we cover it all, man. So it's really good, deep conversations, with artists.
And so a lot of your visions are like very grand. Like we brought up the Gasoline music video earlier, right?
Yeah.
And like the music video didn't even start until like 4 minutes, 30 seconds in, like the music portion of it. Do you find yourself like shooting a lot of footage and then having to delete a lot? Or are you very more like, I guess, surgical with how you shoot?
No, there's a treatment, and then, I mean, every video is different.
Right, of course.
Gasoline, if we're talking specifically about Gasoline, I had a script, and we were going off that script, and there was definitely a vision and a treatment put together before we started shooting, for sure.
Well, it's like you said, you're always trying to innovate. Do you ever find yourself like going overboard on projects?
Every time. I guess. Yeah. There's definitely times where it's like, maybe I'm putting too much effort into this, but no, that's not real, I feel like, because I feel like if your energy is there, then you just got to go with it, The Gasoline project, I that message is all about how mosh pit culture has purpose behind it, and it's a release for people, and it's like part of, because people misunderstand mosh pit culture.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Right. And so, it's like a controlled violence almost,
Yeah.
But I think it's quite beautiful. And so I wanted to sort of speak on that. So that was the point of that treatment. And, and the band had been, inspired by Fight Club. They came to me with this like Fight Club thing, so we were kind of going with that style. The Fight Club style.
I thought I was seeing flash images, like single frames of different. Yeah, so
there's a lot of aspects of that music video that are paying homage or to Fight Club. Yeah,
you can definitely like tell. So what are some things that you hate about what you do, and some things that you love about what you do?
Well, I love most of everything about what I do. I hate dealing with too many cooks in the kitchen. Hate that. I want it to just be, I want the artist to be, it depends on the artist too. Like I want the artist to be like inspired, happy, excited, and like feel like this is their art. If all those things are happening, we're great. If an artist stops caring or just like shows up late and like wants to leave as soon as they can or something like that, and doesn't like isn't participating and like being excited about what we're doing, then it's like that sucks,
Right.
But that's rare. Usually artists are very excited to be there.
So what about in terms of like, if you could like steer the industry in a certain direction, like what would you push it towards? Just as a whole.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, I think regardless, like, I think what's going to happen is it's like, you know, it's doing this. Like, it's like there's less gatekeepers and there's more consumer people that are just like being able to become amazing with technology, right?
Mm.
And tell their stories and stuff, which is good, you know? And so really it's going to come down to like a lot more individuality, I think. I don't think the music industry has control over what it's going to become.
Right, of course.
So, but I guess like obviously like I hope for good morals. I hope for good,
Yeah.
I hope for good people and good morals. And I hope that, you know, whoever retains any kind of power that can help, you know, promote good messaging, good art or whatever it is, or entertainment in general. I hope those people are good people. And I hope, you know, that peace and love, man.
Yeah.
I hope that it doesn't, you know, go to the bad way and become a greedy, you know, it kind of is that way, unfortunately, sometimes, like just like a little bit greedy, like people are all about their money and then just don't care about the art. I hope people care about the art.
Yeah. What are some like pieces of art that you like a lot or like are your favorite or you just like in general that you haven't done? Like what are some of your favorite movies, some of your favorite music in general? Other than Jurassic Park.
I mean, man, you know, everything, so many things, you know, I am really inspired by, like, I was inspired by David Lynch and all Spielberg's catalog, all Scorsese's catalog, just about. I really like to look at Quentin Tarantino, everything he's done, amazing. I really look at those you know, those pillar filmmakers, like, and just think like, you know, what they do is sick, like you know, and there's a style, and you realize that there's a style behind. So the unique Wes Anderson's another one. Paul Thomas Anderson. Paul Thomas Anderson's amazing to me. Like Boogie Nights is an amazing movie that I love. Love that film. Yeah, just lots of stuff, man. And then it depends, like certain projects, like it depends on what your project is going for. Like we did Fight Club. They wanted Fight Club, so you watch Fight Club and you get inspired by Fight Club, you know?
Right.
Or if like somebody wants to do like recreate Teletubbies, it's like, okay, well now I gotta get the inspiration from Teletubbies, you know?
Right.
And that has its own charm, man. You know who I love is Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, I love Mr. Rogers.
I love Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is the best. I hope that I can somehow be a tenth of what that man was.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Mr. Rogers is a legend.
In terms of like your hobbies outside of it, I mean, you know, it sounds like you don't have a lot of free time in general, but in terms of like your lifestyle, what do you like to do hobby wise?
You know, it's crazy because like it sounds weird, but like I like to do what I do so much that it's like when I'm not doing it for work, I'm doing it for myself. Like
Right.
So it kind of like is my hobby, but also I guess I like to hike. I do hiking stuff when the weather's nice. You know, just like getting exercise if I can in any kind of natural way, like going, you know, it sounds weird, but like focusing on health stuff is kind of what I try to do when I'm not working, like just literally stretching and like going on walks and stuff.
What's your diet look like food wise? Like
I've been fasting. I've been trying to do I have been failing this week, to be honest with you, but I've been trying to do the fasting thing recently and have generally been pretty good.
What kind of fast?
Doing it. I'm doing like 16-hour fast, 16, sometimes a little more. Depends on the day, varying, but I do feel better when I do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've used to fast every Friday, and it, like, you feel a lot like lighter almost.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it, but like lighter.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Health is so important. It's like you don't think about that stuff until you're like starting to be in your later 30s, I feel like, but you feel invincible or whatever. I did. But now, I mean, now it's like I'm starting to feel my bones creak and stuff. I'm like, uh-oh. I gotta just go for some walks. It's important, man.
Okay. And other than the podcast, what other future endeavors do you have like in the works?
I have a lot, but I can't
speak on a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think like what I can say or can't say because if you're talking about my personal projects,
yeah, personal projects.
I'm working on music, which is new for me.
What kind of sound?
Like a folky kind of like. Well, I'm trying to do something different, so I am trying to make a sound that hasn't. But you know, it's kind of if I had to say what it was, it would be like folk, experimental, sort of almost tribal sounding kind of stuff.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's fire.
Yeah, not that I'm trying to be tribal sounding; it's just kind of happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're expressing your soul.
I'm just trying to do what I want to hear. Doing the Rick Rubin thing or whatever.
Mm. Who are some of your favorite producers?
Well, Jacob Collier right now.
Yeah.
Just straight up, he's incredible. Man, I mean, I got to work with Timbaland one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was a great vibe. And I've been inside of one of his sessions. I was lucky to go on one of his sessions because of Joyner. And that was a great vibe. That was cool.
What's he like?
Because I just like people for people, you know. So
yeah,
it's cool to work with somebody and they're cool. Like Timbaland was really cool. I don't know, you know, I don't know. He was just gave you good energy, I guess.
Yeah.
On a video shoot too, just like, you know, just being a normal, cool guy, like excited about the art.
Yeah,
which is the biggest thing, right? He's just pumped up about everything, passionate. So that's great. That's why he is who he is.
So I want to thank you again for coming out here. Well, I mean, you know, I'm coming out here, I guess, but I want to thank you nonetheless for coming on to the show. You know what I mean? Drop your socials one more time for the people.
Thanks for having me, man. It's BT Proulx, Proulx. And that's it, right? That's what I say.
Yeah.
that's my Instagram.
Yeah,
that's my Instagram
Instagram.
and my YouTube is that. You know, I gotta get better at social media, man.
Hey, you're gonna have to do it on your podcast, so
yeah.
Well, shit.
We'll get there.
It's been Smoking with Tutal. Y'all stay safe, uplift yourself. Yeah, we gonna cut it.
Thank you, man.